In fact, he's been trying to. Jameson Houston will join us now. He joins us on Sic'Em 365 Radio. Today, he was drafted into the USFL as well, and former Baylor cornerback went to St. Michael's Catholic in Austin. Jameson, thanks for your time. And by the way, Zach Smith's trying to get in touch with you. He just told us that. We just had him on the show.
Oh, okay. I got to call him then. I'm not sure if I even have his number.
Well, we'll text it to you after this segment. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
All right, you were drafted, actually, I said today, the second round today, the second day today. You were drafted last night. What was that like? Yeah.
Yeah, I was drafted last night in the second round, the 5th pick.
Yeah, that has a lot, and that's not surprising because, again, you've been in the league. You've been in the NFL. What was the process like leading up to the draft, and what did you expect?
That's kind of what I expected. I kind of expected to go a little earlier also. I've always think highly of myself, so I kind of already knew what to expect and what was coming. So, it really wasn't too much of a shocker to me.
So, what do you know about your schedule coming up? What do you have to do? I mean, I know that there's a training camp. You're going to be all living in Birmingham, kind of together, all the teams. What's that going to be like?
I'm not really sure the schedule. I just know we report probably March 21st. I know the season starts April 21st. And, we just go from there. I talked to Coach last night. We'll hop on Zoom calls, and do what we need to do. Do as much as we can before we get there. So when we get there, we can have the ball rolling already.
So, Jameson, you're going to the Michigan Panthers, one of these original franchises. And as Paul mentioned, you'll be playing your games in Birmingham. But, this league, like other leagues that pop up, obviously present more opportunities. After having a little bit of a dip in the NFL and wanting to continue your playing career, obviously, how huge was that to know that, hey, here's another opportunity coming my way to try and make my mark?
Oh, man, it was huge for sure. It was huge. I always want to, just to be able to have another opportunity like this, is a blessing. So, I'm going to go out there, and, show everybody what I can do, and just play ball, and just, like I said, having this opportunity to show everybody that, I belong and I can play in the NFL, that's really what I want to do.
Well, and you have, as Craig mentioned, Cleveland, Carolina, Philadelphia, Jacksonville. You've been there. It hasn't always worked out. That's part of the business as well. How much does that fuel your fire that you've been so close but not quite close enough?
Man, it's been like that all my life. Since St. Michael's, and I've always been overlooked. Even when I was at Baylor, I was overlooked. So it's always that's just something that always stuck with me. I always got a chip on my shoulder just for things like that. So, like I said, when I get there, I got a point to prove. So, yeah, that's that.
What did you know about the USFL before the previous iteration, the one from the 80s? Anything?
I actually didn't know anything about it. The only thing I knew, me and my agent talked about it. He mentioned the XFL, I know it's kind of different, but I haven't really known much or even heard much about the USFL, actually, so it's kind of new to me.
Jameson, your time in the pros and just the transition from college ball, where you obviously played a lot for the Bears, and then just going through the business side of things. So what was the biggest, I guess, learning lesson, and just what was that experience like of seeing the business side of professional football?
It's definitely a business, man, it's not really much of a difference, the competition, everyone's great, when it comes to the NFL and stuff, but it's really not much of a difference, and it's just like, you gotta, it's everyone's for themselves, so you gotta go out there and, and do what you gotta do every day. So, cause, it's every day, there's someone behind you trying to, take what you can take the spot that you have already. So,
we just had Zach on. Orion Stewart just texted in. We have you among some others that are former Baylor players that are, of course, getting this opportunity. And Orion's been in the league as well. How much will that make it fun that you're going to be kind of seeing some guys that were either there when you were there, before you were there, or after you left?
Yeah, me and Orion was actually on the phone earlier. I called him and we talked about everything. I seen that he got picked and we were on the same team. And, me and Orion played together 2015 and 2016. We were real close. And, like I said, he played safety and I played corner. So we kind of already have, you play with somebody already, y'all had a communication and stuff like that, and the comfortability. So we kind of already have that with each other. So I think that'll be good for both of us.
Jameson, how much did you get to watch the Baylor Bears this past season?
Man, I watched them every game. They they definitely played great.
Yeah, I mean, Big 12 champs, Sugar Bowl champs. Your thoughts on just, obviously the first year with Dave Aranda, who's a tremendous coach and defensive coach, it was a little bit rocky because of COVID and all that, but just your thoughts as a former player, knowing what the program's been through, to see them, not only get into that game, but, win games like the Big 12 title and the Sugar Bowl and 12 games overall. What did that mean to you as a former player who's been through the grind with this program?
Man, it means a lot to me because, everyone overlooks Baylor, and everyone, they don't have a good schedule, they don't have good players, this and that, So to see us go win, the Big 12 championship and then the Sugar Bowl, you kind of just like shows people like, okay, like, they definitely got players who can play, they definitely got good coaches. So, and for Baylor and for us, we want to be the best in Texas. So that kind of, shows everybody there.
What does it mean when you see how they're playing defense? Not that you guys didn't start to squeeze things yourself when you were there as far as making plays for Coach Bennett and company and then Coach Rule, but now what they've done with Dave Aranda and that defense?
Man, they definitely playing some defense. I'm not really sure what scheme they're playing, but, I see guys like J.T. Woods and Jalen Petrie and Terrell Bernard. Those guys they're definitely playing. And they're playing at a really high level. So, it makes me it's exciting to see them playing like that.
All right, so I want to go back to 2020. You initially were with Carolina. Matt Rule, of course, was there. But then Philadelphia, and you actually weren't just on the practice squad. You were elevated and active for games, real games, in the end of the season. What was that like, even though not but more 3 games or so, to just be actually in a uniform, in a real game in the league?
Man, it was definitely a blessing. Just to be out there with those guys and learning from guys like Darius Slade and just those vets out there. It was definitely a blessing. Like I said, just being able to be around those guys, it was great. I learned a lot from them, and so when I'm able to take that and what I've learned, from guys like Darius Slade and, other guys that I play with, I can take that now and use what they've taught me, and I'm going to take that and use it for the USFL.
Jameson, Jeff Fisher's your head coach at Birmingham. He's got a good history in the NFL. He hasn't always been successful. That's why he's not still coaching, but he did a heck of a job. Do you know anything about him?
I don't. Me and the defensive coordinator talked last night, and he actually mentioned that I wanted to play for anybody in USFL. It would be Jeff Fisher because no one's going to listen to, a guy like Jeff Fisher because, like I say, like you say, he's been in NFL, he has a good background and stuff like that. So I'm actually excited to, have him as my head coach.
You know how close that play was when Oklahoma State had the ball about an inch from the goal line when Jaron McVay made the play against Oklahoma State to win the Big 12 title when the ball was stretched out towards the pylon?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
Tennessee Titans' Super Bowl appearance against the Rams was not quite that close, but pretty darn close, with a tackle inside the 5-yard line that would have won the Super Bowl. So he was that close to winning a Lombardi trophy as the head coach of Tennessee. So that's who you're about to play for in Michigan. We appreciate you, man. It's great to have you on the show. We'll be in touch. Glad that you're back in the state of Texas, and good luck at Michigan.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me on the call today. Make sure Zach reaches out to me because I'm not sure if I have his number.
I will text him. I will text you his number. Thank you.
Yes.
Jameson,
yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Former Baylor cornerback. He spent some time in the league, then got a chance to play a little bit in 2020 for Philadelphia, and now part of the Michigan.
He sounds excited.
Yeah, I like that